Ladies and gentlemen, there was a story in the news yesterday about a top scientist. His name is Patrick Brown. He told the world that he deliberately omitted key facts in a climate change story he just had published in a prestigious journal. Why? He wanted to make sure his woke editors ran it. That's why. Well, joining us to talk about this and many other things is my friend Steve Goreham. Steve is the executive director of the Climate Science Coalition of America. He's author of 4 books on energy, climate change, and sustainable development. His new book is called Green Breakdown. Welcome back, Steve. How are you?
Hey, Simon. Great to join you again.
Good to have you. You're not shocked by this information, are you?
Not really. That was quite an article in the New York Post.
It was. I mean, I'm not shocked by the fact of it. I'm kind of shocked that he said it out loud.
Yeah. He really did. Well, it's really sort of been going on for so long. It is remarkable that we have so many journals that are kind of, they're shaping the narrative, and they're telling people that you've got to talk about climate a certain way or you can't get published, that sort of thing. It's been going on quite a while, unfortunately, and it is remarkable. We just had Hurricane Idalia hit Florida. It made a Category 3 by the time it got there, and so every news media, NPR, CNN today, ringing about how hurricanes are more frequent and stronger, just like they've now started naming storms that hit Iowa, that sort of thing. They never used to do that.
Right. Right, exactly. As someone who lived in Florida for 12 and a half years and dealt with 3 hurricanes in 6 weeks back in 2004 or 5, I can't quite remember. There were three direct hits in 6 weeks. It became almost a joke if you lived there amongst your neighbors. Here we go again, more bottled water. But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. It really happened. And, we who know about Florida and hurricanes know that what they're writing is garbage. And I think the vast majority of people understand that as well. It's like if you listen to the news today, they're talking about another hurricane, which has, could be a very dangerous hurricane. And the throwaway line at the end is it's not going to hit land.
Yeah, well, they've actually changed that as well. They've started broadcasting. They count everything that's out in the Atlantic now, whether it gets to landfall or not. We've had, you can go to a site at NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and it'll tell you that we've had over 250 hurricanes have made landfall since 1850 in the U.S., and we get an average of about 2 hurricanes a year that come ashore. But the interesting thing is that data shows that the number of hurricane landfalls has been declining since the 1850s. It's had a slight downturn every day, not much, but a little bit less than 2 hurricanes. So the number of hurricanes making landfall has not been increasing despite what what they tell you. And if you look at Category 3, strong ones, Category 3 or stronger, there were 59 of them that came ashore in the 20th century. And we also had a dozen years when we've had multiple Category 3 hurricanes hit the U.S., stretching all the way back to 1909. So hurricanes are something that comes along. They're not caused by your neighbor's SUV or the cattle in Iowa or any of that sort of stuff.
Nope. But equally, I repeat, I lived in Florida. I've been through 6 hurricanes now because my daughter still lives in Florida, and I've hung out with her during a hurricane as well. So I've been through 6 in my lifetime. They're nothing to mess with. They can be very, very dangerous. You should treat them with respect if you're down there. But I would go through 100 hurricanes over 1 tornado every time, every single time. I would do that because you get warning. You get like 5 days warning. You know it's coming. You can prepare for it. You can hunker down. You can board up. You can do all those things if you're smart enough. But I do, just before we get into your book, which we're going to, I do want to come back to this scientist, this climate scientist, Patrick Brown, because what he was talking about was wildfires. right? And and of course, what the narrative of the woke is, well, wildfires are caused by humans and climate change as a result of what humans are doing and climate change. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. 80% of them are started by humans, and then you've got some lightning that starts others, and then there's the whole, well, we've stopped clearing brush. It's such a massive, massive part of making sure these wildfires are not as bad as they should be, and the one in Hawaii appears to have been caused by the power company. So they want you to believe it's climate change, but the one in Hawaii on Maui, which is a place we love. By the way, if you know Maui, the banyan tree is showing signs of life. I'm so happy. You have no idea. Anyway, it is. If you know what I'm talking about, that's amazing. That tree is apparently still alive, so that's fantastic. But anyway, so I just wanted to point out he's now said 80% of wildfires are started by humans. He's a lecturer at Johns Hopkins University, and apparently doesn't want to be published anymore because he's not going to be, right?
Yeah, it's and wildfires are a recent thing. It's just been in the last 5, 6, 7 years that they have become, a big scary thing for climate, and it's kind of carried by this climatism movement. By the way, it's great that some of the presidential candidates are going to be joining you, but both candidate Ramaswamy and former President Trump have said call it climatism, which is actually a part of the title of my first 2 books. But it really is a good word to describe the ideology that has occurred. Not only in the U.S., but across the world. Governor DeSantis calls it politicization of the weather. But the wildfires are a perfect example. Governor Newsom in California, every time they have a fire, he blames climate change. Yet NASA, a year and a half ago, published data showing that the number that the global burned area is actually declining. They look down with satellites and they measure the global burned area every year, and we have typically 10,000 fires that are burning in August at any one time across the globe. But the burned area is down about 20% in the last 15 years. And so you really have to ask Governor Newsom, so if global forest fires are declining, why are they increasing in California because of climate change? And the answer, of course, is other factors. Like you say, there's a lot less forestry going on. And a lot of environmental rules prevent people from actually even building a road through their property to clear brush and other sorts of things. So
right, absolutely, it's such a huge part of the issue, Steve. It really, really is, and you don't have to do too much research to find that out. But unfortunately, we have journalists that air quotes. Please confirm that, JD.
Air quotes present.
There you go. We have so-called journalists who refuse to do the work because if they say out loud what we all know to be true, then they feel they're not going to be able to work again. Anyway, let's talk about green breakdown, the coming renewable energy failure. Very important to places like Iowa. Why is renewable energy going to fail, Steve?
Right. So the world has embarked on a goal. I should say the wealthy world, not the developing world, but the wealthy world has embarked on a goal of becoming net zero by 2050. We now have many states and communities that have said that. And what they mean is every time we use fuel or we combust any kind of fuel, we emit carbon dioxide emissions. They want to get rid of all of that, or whatever the emissions that we can't stop from emitting when we burn, we want to capture that. That's what the U.S. and Europe and other wealthy nations have embarked on. The thing is that is not going to occur. It's just the economics, the science is too much behind it. So the book is on the efforts to transition to renewables to meet this net zero by 2050. It's a complete discussion of power systems, home appliances, so they're trying to take away your gas stove, electric vehicles, they want to force everybody to drive one of those, heavy industry, heavy transportation like airlines and shipping, carbon capture and storage, which is in a battle right now in Iowa. I think we have this Summit Carbon Solutions wants a 950 forced easements where they actually go in and take the land away from the farmers. And then what's gone on in Europe over the last 2 years, which is I call it a transnational energy shock. The price of energy has gotten so high that it's impacted the standard of living of all the people in Europe. So that's what Green Breakdown is about. And it forecasts that people are going to demand a return to low-cost, reliable energy. They're not going to put up with problems like higher electricity prices, coming blackouts,
Right.
People trying to take away your gas stove in your car, and these transnational shocks.
Not good. We're talking to Steve Goreham. When we want to talk about climate, we talk to this guy. He is the executive director of the Climate Science Coalition of America. His new book is called Green Breakdown, The Coming Renewable Energy Failure. By the way, we've been talking about that hearing in Iowa on a daily basis since it began. I will tell you some of the weird stuff that's been happening up there. You won't believe. It's like a John Grisham novel. Let me tell you like that way, Steve. But I'll tell you about that off the air because I'm out of time, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir. Always great to join you.
Always great to have you. Have yourself a great rest of the day.